Hello and welcome to another video. I watched a documentary where a man, he died and went to heaven, and he told his story. He saw relatives, just in great detail. He, told what he saw. But what stuck out the most in the story, the guy mentioned when he was brought back, due to prayers, the guy was actually mad. He was mad at God. He wanted to stay after what he, seen and experienced. But God needed that man here. And that's, when he basically asked God, why did you bring me back? God was like saying, hey, don't wag your finger at me. I need you here. I need you to tell your story. I need more people to know, what you experience. So, and I get it. We escape death. We're saved from something that allows us more time here to share our testimony. You could have went through a horrible breakup that almost killed you, but God came through and saved you. You could have went through an illness, but with faith, the doctors checked and there is no more sickness. Whatever the situation, God makes no mistakes, and we are here to tell our story and bring people to God. So many unbelievers have changed their heart after either going through something traumatic or witnessing someone else's story where they had a change of heart towards the Father. Some will believe and some will need extra convincing, and some, no matter the miracles or what you say, will never believe, and that's okay. But we should never stop speaking on how wonderful and amazing God has been for us. He called a lot of us to speak up because people still don't believe. They hold on and cling to this false promise of the enemy, thinking the enemy will save their soul, and that's a lie. God is the only way. Now, I have so many stories of just how amazing God has been to me. And even today, God is always showing up and showing out in my life. Anything that concerns me, just like a child runs to tell on the other sibling, literally everything that the sibling does, they run to the parent and the parent fixes it. This is me with God. A silly example, but I'm just like everything that concerns me, I run to God about it. When you are aware and awake to the dark spiritual practices people in your church and community partake in, you'll start to up your prayer game. You'll start to cover your family and even close friends. People around us allow their house, and by house I mean your body, your vessel, to become so unclean and an easy target for dark energies to overtake. And before you know it, you are no longer controlling your house, something else is. Have you ever turned on the news and you saw a story where you see a man or a woman, just any family, nice community, loving family, beautiful friend circle, and they end up taking out their entire family? And what's the first thing people like to say? They usually say they seem so happy, loving every time we see them. It's a shock to people in the community. All it takes is one tiny leak to open up in your house for these dark energies or entities to come in and completely pollute your mind and the way you move about your day. There has even been cases where people commit horrible acts on others and can't even remember even doing it. They seem so confused. That's because they allowed a leak in their house. Prayer is so powerful. Psalm 91 being the most powerful prayer in the Bible. Yet so many people turn their nose up at the idea of even doing such a thing. Until something terrible happens in their life, and then we turn to God in prayer. But sometimes it's too late. Just knowing that I have my Heavenly Father in my life makes me want to shout and sing praises and tell everyone just how amazing He is. For my non-believers, God is real. Many can gather and try to turn me and many others away from the Father, but they will always fail. When God has been really good, just the smallest things, just always there, saving you from so much, so many things that you cannot see ahead of you, open your eyes to so many things that were meant to harm you. You cannot help but want to, help others and sing praises to God. But remember, there's a thin veil that separates us from what we can see and what we cannot see. There's a spiritual battle going on behind the scenes, and it's important that your house, your body is armored up and ready because the enemy does not rest and is always recruiting new people. Your friends and family will think that you're crazy, something's wrong with you, oh, you're demonic or whatever. And some even will cut you off altogether because you're moving differently and doing something they're too afraid to do, which is wake people up and bring people closer to God. People around you will say, oh, hey, oh yeah, I believe in God. I go to church every Sunday, but be the main ones doing dark magic and death spells on any and everything to go in their favor. And if you call them out, especially if you are a prophet, they like to flip it and say, no, that's what you do. A lot of God's children who get downloads straight from the Most High, so many have been accused of doing dark work because there's no way God is working through them. A lot of people question, how do certain people get their information? How do they know these things? How do they know this? Are they prying? Is my house bugged? But the answer will always be God. When you spend time with the Father and you build that relationship, God always reveals and shows us things that are hidden, things that can help people in our family, strangers, just people in the world. And it makes a lot of people uncomfortable because, like, how in the heck did you know that happened and you weren't even in our home or around us or something? And yeah, a lot of God's children get accused of doing dark things, but that's not the case. So, and you can always tell by their energy and the light they carry, they're not asking for anything. They're just out here to help. Now, before I close the video, and I hope you stayed for the entire video, I want to say I recently had a situation that needed handling and I was somewhat stressed. I like to take care of business and not really have to think about it. And once again, God came through for me. And I remember seeing a sign when I was driving that day. God has a way of placing things in my path to kind of let me know, hey, I'm always with you. You don't have nothing to worry about. But the sign said, I'm never late. And I knew, I had to smile. I knew it was God. So really not so quick video. So if you stay till the end, thank you for listening.